You know, it helps if I turn the microphone on. Good morning, 1 Million Cups, and welcome to our weekly session. Welcome to our new attendees and, of course, all of those who are existing members. Next slide, please. So 1 Million Cups is sponsored by the Kauffman Foundation, and they're working with entrepreneurs and communities across the U.S. to increase opportunities for those of us in small business to learn, to own our success, as well as take risks in our businesses. We have several visitors today, so if you would raise your hand, I would like to recognize you and have you introduce yourself, and you can make it quick, just your name, your company name, and how you heard about us. And I'm just scrolling down, so Mark, if you will unmute yourself, I'll start with you.
Okay. First off, I was invited here today by Alex. I think he's on as well. I'm with Pinnacle Bank. It's actually Pinnacle Financial Partners, but that's what we trade as. But we're a fairly new bank to the Northern Virginia area. We've been around for 3 years here, but we're a 24-year-old bank out of Nashville. We are considered a community bank as we have franchises throughout the Southeast and approaching the Mid-Atlantic. I do commercial lending, and I actually support small business and commercial. So that's why our conversation led me to the visiting today. Sure. And if you think about it, I'm also an entrepreneur. I go out and I get my business, and I try to make loans to folks and help with treasury management, cash flow, and all kinds of different things commercially. So I am kind of in your shoes as well. But that's who I am. And I did put my LinkedIn profile in the chat. Feel free to send me a link, and I'll do the same, whatever I see in there. And we'll go from there. But thanks for the invite, Alex.
Welcome, Mark. Happy to have you.
Thank you.
Anna, I believe I see your hand raised as well.
I'm Anna. I live in Woodbridge. I've ever been to a 1 Million Cups event. I was kind of referred here from Business Builder Initiative. It's a new program that they're offering to female business owners, small business owners, or the specifically female veterans, female military. So I'm on the mill side, and I'm just in start doing this that focus branding and marketing materials, and I will be targeting the military veterans and fellow military. So I am a military spouse. 20 years. We've lived in the DMV several times, most recently during COVID, and we left during COVID to go down to Florida and came back. I've lived in Japan, Texas, Maine, Washington State. So I see I'm breaking up. My apology. Information in the chat.
Beautiful. Thanks so much for being here. Anybody
Thanks.
that I missed? I saw 2 hands, but I think if I missed you, just jump in here. But I think we've got everyone. Next slide, please. So this slide's important. That QR code lets 1 Million Cups National know that we are actively engaged in a Wednesday morning meeting. So if you will scan that QR code with your phone, it'll also appear later on. But if you have your phone out, go ahead and scan the QR code. You can see our attendance on the right-hand side. It's always nice to see it bump up, and I think today might be, it's certainly one of the higher ones that I've attended, at least with folks that are online with us. So if you'll check in with that QR code, that will let everyone know that the Fairfax 1 Million Cups is the best 1 Million Cups. So for those of you that are new, welcome again. This is our organizing team and our brand ambassadors, as well as partner organizations that we're working with. Any of the friendly faces that you see on this slide, you can reach out to us via the info we provide in the chat. Happy to share more information about 1 Million Cups and the impact that it's had on us professionally and in some cases personally. So please reach out if you'd like more information. One-on-ones are welcome in person as well as via Zoom. We're also partnered with Veterans Growing America and the Fairfax County Economic Development Authority. And I believe we have the Economic Development Authority on here. And again, I'm working on a day after my COVID shot and my head is kind of like in a lot of places. So more information available from anyone here on this slide. Next slide, please. So 1 Million Cups has a national and local mission. And we create a consistent educational experience for each presenter, while also highlighting the uniqueness and value proposition in the local startup communities. Value propositions can be challenging to small business owners and entrepreneurs. Ask me how I know. This is a great resource to be able to work on different pieces of the business that sometimes get pushed to the side in favor of daily operations. Next slide, please. The key pillars of 1 Million Cups. Within 1 Million Cups, it's about relationships. It's about presentations, not pitches. We are not handing out money, although it does appear that we've got folks within the group today who are, which is always a good resource to have. 1 Million Cups is run for the community and by the community. And my favorite bullet point in this is that it is radically and intentionally inclusive. If you are in a niche type of business or have niche interests, this is a great place to find a home. And we would welcome the newbies to return as many times as you can. And for those of you who do return on a weekly basis, we're thankful to have you. Jen, would you like to speak to the Mason Enterprise Center as our location sponsor?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. So Mason Enterprise Center is part of the broader Mason Enterprise. It's part of the George Mason community. There are multiple locations that business owners can either be virtual members that have physical office space. You can also hotel around. So if you're looking for whether it's location in Arlington, in Fairfax, right off of 66, there are multiple places where you can do business. What's nice about Mason Enterprise Center is that they also have dedicated mentors. They have 18 mentors that work with small business owners. And so if you are interested in growing your business, if you need help with moving in, scaling into the GovCon space, that is also something to consider. They host us in person the first Wednesday of every month. So if you want to explore their space, we actually meet in their training room, which is a building across from where their offices are on the 4th floor, but right next door. So come and meet Eddie Hill. He is the director of the incubator. Again, they're a fantastic group to work with. They host networking events with us as well every quarter. Just a really great partner. So if you want to expand your business community and potentially if you're looking for new space or mentorship, check them out. I will put a link to their website in chat. And then I'm going to hand it over to Alex Mattini, our coffee sponsor.
Good morning, everyone. Well, the company name has changed. It is now Intuity. I am a certified franchise consultant. I love coffee, so I'm a coffee sponsor. First of all, I want to welcome my guest. Thank you, Mark, for joining us. Mark is someone I met at a different function, but I believe in what he does at his bank. And so welcome, and I think we can learn a lot from you if you choose to present for us. That's all I have to say for this morning. Welcome, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Next slide, please. So how our meetings work. We'll have an 8 to 10 minute presentation from Mark, as Alex just said. And then we'll have a quick Q&A session afterwards. And we will use, we recommend that you use chat. And that's where obviously we've already asked if you'll share your identity and contact information, whether that's your LinkedIn profile, whether you have a canned introduction, just drop that in the chat so we can see that. It's also a great place to summarize comments and questions. Sometimes we get ahead of ourselves, or in my case, behind ourselves, when we're going through the Q&A. So we use the chat to be able to capture all of the random thoughts that may pop into our heads as we're going through this. Also, recommend that you save the chat before you leave the meeting. There are three, if you go to the top of the chat window, there's three buttons on the right-hand side. Click on that, save chat, and depending on your computer, it may save it someplace weird, or it may put it in your downloads or on your desktop. It all depends on the setup. Ask me how I know. The chat's also a great place to set up more conversations with other attendees for one-on-ones after this weekly meeting. So we'll do a presentation. We'll have a Q&A. We ask if you are not actively speaking, if you remain on mute, because sometimes some people have small dogs that like to insert their comments in the meetings, and perhaps the comments aren't helpful. Next slide, please. Best practices, we always put these out there. We know we're all adults and grown-ups in the room, unless it's 10 minutes to 9 and then all bets are off. But when we're in the conversations, when we're in the Q&A, perhaps instead of saying, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, we're going to go with, I have a slightly different perspective. Thanks for the insight. I appreciate what you said. Could you clarify X, Y, Z? Just be a grown-up in the room. I think that's all we're asking for. Next slide, please.
I think we'll actually turn it over to Jose now.
Oh, okay. Jose, I think you have your slides ready to go.
Yes. While I'm putting this there, I've been in many 1 million cups. This is unique for several reasons. And I just want to start by saying thank you for taking the time this morning to listen to me and to any other aspiring entrepreneur out there, right? You are providing a great service to us as with feedback. I'm not saying this, taking an hour of your time to mingle with others that maybe are friends is a value to me. So thank you for that. I do appreciate it. So I believe that I have the presentation on, right?
You do?
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. Let me start my 10 minutes. I'm going to do something a little bit different from what I believe that you are used to. So at the end, maybe I could catch up with kind of your format and your questions. But let me run by this presentation first. Dunbar app. I'm not Dunbar. Dunbar is Robin Dunbar is a professor at Oxford that came up with this idea, the Dunbar number. The idea is that human beings, we only have the capacity of have 150 meaningful relationships. I get inspired by that. My app is very different, but I contact Robin Dorbin and I say, could I use your name? And he said, yeah, why not? So that is the extent of my relationship with that idea. But anyhow, this is my first question to you. John told me not to use this one because I guess that none of you actually manage any retail business. So I have another question to kind of go to the pain that I'm trying to solve. Is this one. What do you do when you go to a restaurant and you don't like the restaurant, right? I'm guessing that for you, you do nothing. You just walk away and never return, right? But most people like me, we go to online and write reviews. I didn't like the service, the waitress went on, it's too expensive. I guess that we do it because we don't want to talk to the manager. It's kind of awkward. But also we feel that if we tell the community, then we are providing a public service, right? We are not fixing the problem though, but and then maybe we are mad and we just want to say it, right? So that is a question to start understanding what we are trying to fix. We want to try to fix the problem that customers have. So as I said, many people go to online Google reviews and write bad reviews, but we are trying to fix that little part of the chain of kind of the experience of the customer. We would like to minimize Google reviews. Very simple so far. Turns out that if you are a business owner, a retail business, maybe some of you were in the past, right? Having a good reputation online is very important. It could mean like 9% different vis-a-vis your competition, right? On revenues ups and down. So it's really, really, really important. And when you have bad reviews, there's one way to fix it, right? What is it? You need good reviews, right? So if you are a small business busy with the day-to-day operation and you get bad reviews, oh my God, I need good reviews. So then what do? I go to my girlfriend, my kids, my employees, or I entice my client. Hey, if you give me good review, I give you 5%, whatever, right? But that is wrong. And I tell you in a second why. Anyway, bad reviews are less income, are problem with the search on your position on Google or whatever the internet ranking service you use. This is why this is wrong. If you don't have good reviews and you try to buy reviews, you can buy reviews made in Bangladesh for $5. And boom, you got it, right? You compensate from the bad reviews and you buy good reviews, right? But it turns out that since Monday, you're going to be penalized by the FTC. I know that people don't like the FTC now, but but this is what we got. So, and they come with this idea that, or this ruling, that if you create a fake review inside of your app, then you can be penalized up to $51,000 per transaction, per violation. So it's a big thing. If you Google this fake reviews, you will see so many articles right now talking about that. This just began to be informed last Monday. So it's a very hot topic, right? So how do we do it? How do we minimize bad reviews? Not eliminate it, but minimize bad reviews. It's very simple. It's a formula that is very simple. We got happy customers, the one that like your product, your service, right? And we have unhappy customers. To the happy customer, I will say, if you're happy and you know it, go to Google, right? We walk through our system from a QR code to a set of questions to Google. And then if you're happy, you will probably give 5 reviews and good comment, good feedback to the business that you are visiting or getting some service. But if you're unhappy, then we don't take you to Google right away. You go to the manager first. And that is at the core of the problem. If you go to a restaurant, you're not happy, what do? You just walk away. But most people, or at least we would like, if we want to fix the problem, then we should go to the manager, but we don't go to the manager. So in this way, in this process of getting kind of feedback from the customers, as a business owner, I will know who are the unhappy customers. I will know the problem. I'm going to fix it. The system right now doesn't allow to do that part. And this is very important to fix problems, to get customers happier. Let's do some practice. You don't need to scan this QR code if you are not into that. But anyhow, I'm going to show you how the customer will experience this service, right? So a client, an owner of the store, of establishment, go to the app, answer a few questions, and then it will, the app that we have will create a QR code. That QR code will be placed in different places around the business, right? The point of sale, the information desk, the front desk, the door, whatever. So if you want to scan this QR code, please do it now. But this is what you're going to see. I did it for the City of Fairfax Regional Library that you probably know, right? Questions. Is this the first time at the library? Did you find a book? Are you going to recommend the library, right? And that is very key for any marketing purposes, right? So these are questions that the owner of the store or the establishment will create using the app. So it's customizable, right? And then we got this complicated tree of decision. The last question is something like this. How happy are you with our service? So you have three options. If you're happy, you click on the happy face and you will go to this in your browser, and that will jump into Google, right? Google Maps. This is me. I created this and I gave a good review, 5 stars, to the city library. Great library, great town. So you can see my name there, right? So I am actually using my own app, and you can do it. But how about if you are unhappy, right? What happened? If you're unhappy, you are, whatever, right? Then you go to the manager first. You write your complaint. It is difficult to find your parking lot. Also, I didn't find any good book about Italy, right? And then you send that. Very simple. That will go to the manager of the store or the manager of the library, and you can see how the manager will see my complaint. It is difficult to find your parking lot, blah, blah, blah. The manager could text me, could call me, or could close the ticket, right? But then that information also lead me to this page, and even I am unhappy customer, I need to have access to Google Maps according to this new regulation. Equal access to the unhappy and a happy customer. They both go to Google. It's just that one of them, the one that is unhappy, will go to the manager first. Is this part clear? I am about 1 minute to finish my 10 minutes, but I'm going to try to jump into this. This is how you create questions in the app. We try to every day to improve the app to make it very simple. We are the only solution like this one that you can do it on the fly on a cell phone. So you create questions, and then you get a QR code that you can share with social media if you want, or you can print it out and put it on your point of sale or point of communication with your clients. We got easy reporting inside of the app, and we send you weekly a report to your email. And we are aiming to have this for $24.99 in the future. Right now, we have this intro price of $4.99 a month for this service. And finally, this is what we do. Client surveys. We get information from your clients for you. We manage the complaints, and hopefully we could give many business 5-star reviews. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Really appreciate your presentation and effort. So thank you, and I could tell by the applause, everyone is excited. We're now going to start the Q&A. So Jose, where are you on my screen? I'm looking at you, man.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell everyone our interactions. I made any number of suggestions to Jose. He rejected 100 out of 100 of them. How about that? Okay, I loved it. I loved it. Sharpened me up. So Jose, I want you to listen to me very closely. When people ask you or make suggestions, when they make suggestions, say, great idea, thank you very much. When they ask a question, give a short answer. No more than 3 sentences. The reason I say this is you don't want to eat up the time either defending what you're doing or rationalizing. Rather, you want to hear questions and suggestions. This is being videotaped. You're going to have an opportunity to digest this after the meeting. So now, to the question askers. Short questions, 2 sentences or less. Who would like to go first? I see James up. I got Amy second. By the way, I apologize to the retailers in the room, Amy and Mr. Foster. And I saw Katrina here. She's working on a retail product to a certain degree. So there you go, Jose. James and then Amy.
For some reason, I can't find the hand thing to raise a hand. But anyway, Jose, I have to tell you that when I was told that you were coming on to talk about this, I really wasn't sure what to expect. But I love this. Like, I think this is very, very cool. Like, very cool. Just quickly, if I'm in a place and I want to utilize this, how long did it take me to go from start to finish? Like, what's that time look like? Is it 3 seconds, 5 seconds? What does that look like?
As a client or as a
As a user, right? I do
As a
I
user.
scan the barcode and I go through the process. Like, what does it look like?
Right. You scan the QR code, your browser on your cell phone will open. You answer questions that the establishment created for you, up to 10 questions. You go yes and no, yes and no. They are binary questions. They are not open questions. They are not multiple selections. So make it easy for you to, on the fly. And then at the end, you have the final question, which is critical. Are you happy? If you're happy, then the browser will guide you to Google, and it's up to you to leave a review. If
Okay,
you
so
are unhappy,
the whole thing can be done in less than 20 seconds, I'm guessing.
if you need to write something, maybe a minute. But if
Okay.
you don't write anything, just go step by step, answer question, go to Google, give 5-star review, move on.
Cool.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Amy, and then John Foster.
Say I'm in a niche space, so I own a candy company, but the thing that intrigues me
know.
about this app is that it has a broader audience than a lot of the apps that have been proposed to me. At the beginning, I think you said you were focused on the Latin American market. And so is it the same app that I'd be using for my Latino customers that I would be using this way? Like, am I able to get a bilingual version of this?
The app is bilingual. It will detect the cell phone that you are opening the app from. And you don't need to say English, Spanish. If you have the app, if you download the app, you can go to the settings and change the language. Although your cell phone, for example, is in English, but you want the Spanish version like I do, right? My cell phone default language is English, but I read some things in Spanish. So you can do it as well. When I
I'll
said
reach back out to you for
before,
a chat.
huh?
I'd like to reach
Sorry?
back out to you and have a chat.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
already text you with my email in the chat. So
Perfect.
so nice. But when I said Latin America, the thing is that we launched this version 8 weeks ago, and we have ambassador friends in Latin America that they are getting the first initial customers. We already got about 50 customers in Latin America. It's just that we are testing that in markets in Mexico, Colombia, and Chile. But we are, after we finish a number, we're going to start doing more in the US. Kind of just to dive into something that you're not asking, but I just want to use the opportunity to say. It's like our goal is to reach 100 paying clients, kind of to prove that we have some traction, and then we may do some funding, raise funding. But that is kind of our path. We got 50. We want to get some in the US, have some track record, traction, and then move from there.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you.
John, and then Jen.
Thank you, John. Jose, love this. Wish we'd had it a few years ago when we opened the restaurant. We had I'll say a struggle, and ours was, and Mike, and this goes back to my question. I understand you're doing this for Google. Any thoughts as far as Yelp?
Yeah. We start with Google because 70% of all the reviews are on Google. So it's a massive, that may change after this ruling.
Mm-hmm.
And Yelp will grow. And Yelp will grow because you cannot solicit a feedback, a review, if you are on Yelp. If I have the Yelp sticker on my restaurant, I could see it as a client, but I cannot as my client. Although with Google you can do it, with TripAdvisor you can do it, with any others. Yelp is unique on that. So I guess Yelp will grow with this new ruling, right? Just for the way that they do business.
Yeah.
But Yelp has a wall for us on if I get a client, then you see, oh, do you want to give a review on Google? Fine. But I cannot say, do you want to give a review on Yelp? Because that is against their policies.
Okay. Well, thank you for what you're doing.
Jen, then Reggie.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Jose, for your presentation. I think your challenge question is to scale and grow. So can you talk about, of the 50 users you have so far, are any of those your ideal client, or who would be your ideal client as you look to scale? Is it retail shops? I know that came up. What are you envisioning? What would be the perfect outcome?
John and I talk about that this week, right? Define your segment, right, as they call it. And I said, I don't know, and I'm very honest. We, as a startup, every other week we change and refine and fine tune, right? And that is the reason we are not a small corporation; we are a startup company. So in that way, you go from the bottom up. So we start, for example, a year ago with teachers trying something. Then we move to radio station and try a little bit. And during the summer, we say, hey, retail stores, they have a special niche for us. So we pivot to that a little bit. And then we are in the retail. In Latin America, restaurants are very popular with the app. So far, what I got, restaurants, but not only restaurants, we got everything from gym, a butcher, I got it. I got a couple of kind of training schools and whatnot, right? Sport clubs, many uses. But restaurants tend to be easy to sell, especially if they have low ranking on Google. It's an easy sell. It's, hey, you are only 3.5. I could get you to 4.5 with the app. So it's an easy sell. In the US, the majority of the restaurants, if you go to Fairfax around, you will be surprised they are franchises. And to sell to a franchise, the cycle is incredibly difficult for what we are selling. So we decided we go to independent restaurant, as John told me, not family restaurant, independent restaurant, right? But then our field so far is that in the US will be non-restaurant retail independent business. And there are many. It's not that there are 33 million small businesses in the US, right? Out of those, half are franchises or big corporation, and then so the segment will be, I don't know, 10 million maybe of the ones that I'm after. But again, I'm just testing with my team of ambassadors, sellers, right? And we go from there, right? We are tweaking this every day. Thank you. It was a good opportunity to say more about the vision. I don't know if I answered everything that you were trying to say. That is kind of my ideal customer.
That was perfect. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Great. Reggie, then Melinda.
Thank you, Jose, for your presentation. I was just wondering about the name of the product because I did a quick Google search. And there's a couple other Dunbar apps and platforms that are out there. So and I think it doesn't really communicate what the user can do or what it does for the company. So you might want to think about how to name it something different that is more resonant with what you're actually providing. So that's just a thought. Like it doesn't connect. And I appreciate the explanation of where it came from, but I think there's an opportunity to gain more traction if you could come up with a brand and a message that actually relates to what's happening when people use the product. So just a thought.
Thank you, Reggie. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, Melinda and then Suleiman.
So one of the things I did a little homework, outstanding presentation, Jose. I did a little homework after we had our organizers meeting, and I started thinking about other industries for you. And I made a list and I'll put it in the chat. But I was thinking home service providers like plumbers and electricians and handyman. That might be a really good segment for you. Local medical and dental practices, salons and spas, e-commerce sellers, food trucks and catering uh, companies, independent contractors, freelancers, people like a lot of us who have a business, small gyms and fitness studios, which you mentioned, and also local delivery and logistics services. I just started thinking, who is your target audience? How do you expand from retail? Because when I thought about just retail in general, I thought it was you want to be specific to be terrific, and it's just a big, big, big industry. I mean, it's really a good target because it's well-defined market, but it might be limited with scalability and other things. And then I was just saying, well, what other industries? Because if you could become an industry specialist and maybe even do it for different industries and here's another secret that I learned when I worked for Vidal Sassoon. Call your product something else when you go into another market with the same product. Vidal Sassoon did not. They had salon shampoo sold at retail, and the salons were all mad and they lost the salon business. But you could make your app and call it something different, going back to Reggie's
Great.
idea, in different industries, and the base company could be your company that you've defined, and these could all be different divisions that have an app for each specialty.
Thank you, Melinda. There's one segment that you mentioned that will not be perfect for this, e-commerce. And the reason is e-commerce, they tend not to have a physical address on Google Maps.
Ah,
So, but there's only one minor thing. Thank you for the whole thing.
Thank you both. Suleiman.
Thank you so much. It was a really great presentation, and it's a great initiative as well. Only one question that I have, for if someone will be unhappy, for that one, for the user side, do we have any follow-up or any claim ticket or anything that they can follow up with that first? And the second part of that question will be that if the claim will resolve or will finish, after that, will there be any follow-up email to them that they can put their input on that, like as a review at the end as well, that if they've solved that issue, so then the user will have opportunity to, if he or she is happy or not happy at the end, to put like any review, or they will escape this all process and go back to Google and individually directly on the Google they will write a review.
Okay, thank you, Telemann. You touched many points there. I copy one. Ticket for the customers. No, this is not like, hey, you're calling customer service. My name is Jose. My ID number is 15006. Nobody actually copy that. And then, by the way, for future reference, this ticket is ABCW55. And then maybe you can call next week and you will mention that, and somehow people will know what we talk. This is not this. This is simple, plain vanilla, straightforward. You have a suggestion, a complaint, write to the manager. The follow-ups. When you write a suggestion, a complaint, you need to add your email, your phone number, not your email. The idea is to have from the cell phone a quick option for the manager to call you or text you right away. The email takes like a few other steps, right? So we want to simplify that. There are some people that they don't want to give the number or they don't want to give their names, right? They don't want to be contacted. We are not allowing that yet. We are testing that idea and see what happened with the data that we come up. So the follow-up happened one way. The owner will know your number and will call you, right? And then, or not, will text you or not, right? So it's a little bit limited, the customer service relationship with the app so far.
Reggie. Reg? Maybe Reggie is, are you trying? Yeah, we go.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, computer, it's a little slow. My question was about the data, because I feel like with any type of app, you know, there's the money is really in the data and you know, what you collect and then what people are able to do with that data. So I had a question about sort of how that's used after it's collected, like, and you know, if I'm the restaurant manager owner, is there a dashboard where I can see sort of, you know, a catalog or spreadsheet of number of complaints, types of complaints, like is it organized and categorized in a way that I'm able to like actually, you know, use it to make positive changes? I just, my question is just about how what happens to the data and then how is it reported back to the user so it's helpful for them.
The user, the owner of the profile on the app, get a report every week on what happened in that week with the. Oh, I see James showing the app. Thank you, James. Sorry. So yeah, you get a PDF on your email with this information. You can download from the app a report to any email that you want, either weekly, monthly, right? You can do that. We don't have what you are envisioning or what I'm hearing that you're saying, a dashboard on a desktop. We're going there at some point. We want to expand to, if you have different restaurants, maybe you're on a franchise, but you own 5 pizza joint in the Beltway area, you know, Maryland, DC, Virginia, and you want to see how the 3 or 4 locations that you own are doing, right? And then we're going to have that on the dashboard for extra fee or why not. But we are not, Reggie, we are not there yet. What we get is we give the customers the data from their own business every week, but they can download it upon request. And yeah.
Last question at the moment to Jen.
Jose, for scaling and being more visible, I would think of using or starting with potentially chambers. If you have a chamber, use your app to get very quick feedback. It could be post a big event. It could be something they just send out in an email, but then you might have 400 businesses try this new review and go, wow, this is really simple. Totally want to use this. And the chamber can be a bit of your marketing arm. I think, for example, Mason Enterprise Center could also be one. I'm a member of the Reston Chamber. So I think that would be interesting. The other thing, you know, I noticed when I was going through in the app to set up an account as a business owner, there are templates that you provide, which I think is great. I think there could also be a template for speakers. So I could see a speaker at the end of a talk saying, hey, scan the QR code. Did you gain an insight? What did you think? You know, thank you so much, right? And so this leads me to my question. If I'm a business owner with multiple services where I might want different questions, do I need multiple accounts, or is that something that I could have one business account, but a few different QR codes based on the services I'm asking for, products I'm asking for feedback on? Or is that something you're thinking about in the future?
Okay. Let me talk about the kind of the workshops template, right, that you were talking about. I believe that we got one at the end. It's say exactly that, workshops. The beauty, I didn't went through that. We learned that people like the concept, but they don't know what to ask their clients. So we create this template. We're going to put it in AI, but at some point in the future. But it's right now is you are I don't know, a church, right? You are doing workshops. You have a restaurant. You have a plain vanilla store. We're not. You can see the template, and then you can see the question that we suggested, and it's meant for you to update it, create more questions, tweak it, delete it, right? So that is the workshop part.
Good. I think the chamber idea is brilliant because it's such an easy, give it to the chamber for free.
Yeah. We are chatting with, we made a 1 million cup presentation to the Alaska chapter, and we are chatting with them about this. There are a few challenges on that. They may want not to give it for free. They want to give it to the customer at price, and then they get a cut on the deal.
I do that. What's wrong with that?
You know, no, it's just that we need to fine tune, optimize the app for that type of transaction if we decided to do it. Yeah.
I see Melinda's hand, and then we're probably nearing the end of the Q&A. So Melinda, go, please.
I was looking at ways that you could really launch and things that you could do. And one of the things that all of this has is pain points. So if you were doing a launch, you could actually offer some webinars or Zoom meetings in the industry on pain points. There are a lot of ways, and I'll put it again into the chat, that I was thinking that you could launch. And I guess we haven't really been talking about it, but how are folks going to find you? How are people going to know how you have this app? And I can put the rest into the.
Thank you. That'll be.
Thank you for the seminar thing. I guess that maybe tailored by industry, by sector, by geography. Yeah.
And reputation management, because I mean, those are, key things that you really want to monitor and help these folks with.
So I'm being sensitive to our time for the moment. And I believe if we flip back to the very final question, Jose, this in one of the drafts of your presentation to me, you had this question in there. So our question to you is, how else can our 1 Million Cups community help you today?
Yeah, I'm sharing that answer. You see it. Well, I used to ask, what is wrong with the app? If you can use the app and tell me, what is wrong? Not what is good, but what is wrong. I get a lot of, oh, this is amazing, a good idea, whatever. But I'm going to grow better if you tell me the spelling is wrong. I don't like this button. Why you are charging only $4? You should charge $20 or whatever, right? And you have mentioned a few things that I could make it in what is wrong, right? Or what I should go. And the other one is more specific. I'm aiming to get to 100 by Thanksgiving. That is the goal. 100 total. But how about 100 inside of Fairfax County, right? Is there anything here, anyone that would like to partner in ways that I have no idea how, but maybe I will be happy to entertain conversation over there.
Phenomenal. There can be opportunities. It just takes a little bit of follow-up, that's for sure.
Can I just add, John, to Jen's thing just very quickly about the Chamber of Commerce? I think that's a great channel, right? In two ways. First and foremost, Chambers of Commerce are all struggling right now on what is true value, like how they create value. I'm doing a presentation Friday to about 30 chamber executives on exactly what that's going to look like going forward. They're all struggling with it.
Yeah.
So tailor your app in order for them to put that out to their members. But, the Maryland Chamber of Commerce has 26,000 businesses. Like, that's a channel. So when you talk about scalability, scale is not going one-to-one. Scale is finding a channel that has thousands of the people that you want to get in front of. Like, that's the fastest route. I would definitely be thinking more and more about that, honestly. And I'm
100%.
happy to have a conversation what that might look like. But I can see this being very valuable. Sorry, John.
No, I mean, you struck gold on that. And you can replicate that across the country in different cities. You just need the right evangelist or whatever that word is. Okay, Amy, you're up.
Jose, gracias a ti. This was beautiful and exactly, well, super interesting for me. We'll chat. So next week's
Okay.
presenter, I believe Alex has identified a presenter for us for next week. Do you want to preview that, or should we all be surprised?
No, you don't need to be surprised. Will Simmons is someone I've known for about 20 years. Wonderful guy. A good speaker. Very jovial. He's in the payroll business, and he's been around this industry or that industry that he's in for about 20 years, so he's quite experienced. And he's also willing to join us as a member and help us with future members. He is very well connected in town. He's a native, and so I think he will be a great asset to us, not just as a presenter, but going forward.
Lovely. Thank you so much. We'll look forward to it. Next slide, please. So we showed you the slide earlier that had all these friendly faces on it. If you would like to join us, please type me in the chat. Small commitment, about an hour a week. And it always helps to have, John, what was that word you used? Oh, evangelists for 1 Million Cups. So if you'd like to join us, just let us know in the chat and we would love to have you. Next slide. James, would you like to speak to the upcoming events?
I'm going to let Jen take this since
Okay.
she was handling this.
Today and tomorrow there's the Accelerate Conference. If you are interested in seeing what startups are out there pitching or meeting investors, I highly recommend you attend that. Don Peters is also hosting a great networking event at Chima and Tyson's in early November. And if anybody else has events they want to highlight, I saw a couple dropped into chat. Please feel free to drop them in chat if you want to raise your hand real quickly. We can have you do a quick shout out. But happy to market any of your events as well. And by the way, thank you to everybody who came out last week to our joint event with Mason Enterprise Center. Great food spread. It was lovely seeing Maria, Vanessa, and everybody else there. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, John Foster, for bringing amazing food. If only we'd had the app then, but now we know where to go get the app.
There we go.
And review Green Fair. So.
Hey, Reggie, don't you have a thing coming up? Putting Reggie on the spot here.
Yes, I do. Thank you, James. James's event last Friday, the workshop was really great as well. So it was good to see people that I've only seen on the screen. I have a workshop on November 22nd. It's called Levers and Levels. It's introducing service-based business owners to some things that they can do to help elevate their brand in 2025. It's essentially a day-long brand strategy session. We work together. We have a great lunch and lots of networking. So I put the information in the chat again, but it's a great opportunity for businesses in this area that want to get a jump start on planning for 2025. Thanks.
So here are our upcoming presenters. If you don't see your name on here and want to get in front of it, please do. You'll need to, you can scan the QR code to apply. It's important that we have the paperwork in place. November 6th, we have a hybrid meeting, so we will be together, those of us that can be, together in Fairfax. Not depending on what happens on the 5th, we will be together on November 6th. But you see, we have some space on the calendar for new presenters, and we do have presenters in review. But we would love if you would present your business to us. Spread the good word. If you got something out of the 1 Million Cups meeting today, and I hope you did, please share your experience on Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it now, especially LinkedIn as well as Facebook. And all the links are in one place on using the QR code. If you'd like to have more of the rabble-rousing we had between 8:45 and 9 a.m., please stick around a while. Entrepreneurship is can be a very, at times, a very lonely journey. So we'd love to develop the relationships and have a chat, refresh your coffee, and there's always time for more information.